Welcome to OnePath Systems EEO and Harassment Training. Today we will review what EEO is and what is expected of employees and employers. We will also discuss examples of harassment and how to prevent it. OnePath Systems is dedicated to promote a work environment which ensures equal employment opportunity and fosters a culture that values diversity and empowers individuals so they may participate and contribute to their fullest potential in support of OnePath objectives. EEO stands for Equal Employment Opportunity. This is the right that each and every one of us have to work free from any discrimination based on race, color, religion, national origin, sex, sexual orientation, age, and/or disability. EEOC is EEO compliance, which is adhering to the laws and policies which prevent discrimination. In today's trainings, you may also hear the word diversity, which is a respect and validation of those things that make us different from each other. There are federal laws that prohibit employment discrimination. These laws cover all personnel decisions that could affect the equal employment opportunities for employees or applicants for employment. These federal laws include Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Age Discrimination in Employment Act of '67, the Equal Pay Act of '63, and the Americans with Disabilities Act of '90. Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of '64. This federal law prohibits employment discrimination by public and private employers in all personnel decisions because of race, color, national origin, religion, sex, sexual orientation, or age. Equal employment opportunity is governed by law to eliminate workplace discrimination. On July 2, 1964, Civil Rights Act was founded to prohibit employment discrimination, including harassment and hostility that stemmed from discrimination under Title VII. Throughout the years, Civil Rights Act of '64 continues to be amended as the dominant law governing EEOC. Goals of equal employment opportunity are to eliminate discrimination and sexual harassment in the workplace, to provide fair opportunity to all employees, because the U.S. government believes that everyone has the right to be treated fairly at work, and everyone deserves to feel comfortable and be treated in a professional manner. Employees are required to treat employees fairly on the basis of merit, ability, and potential in employment matters. The Equal Pay Act, signed into law by President John F. Kennedy on June 10, '63, was one of the first federal anti-discrimination laws that addressed wage differences based on gender. The act made it illegal to pay men and women working in the same place different salaries for similar work. The Equal Pay Act requires that men and women be given equal pay for equal work in the same establishment. The jobs need not be identical, but they must be substantially equal. It is job content, not job titles, that determines whether jobs are substantially equal. Age discrimination involves treating someone, an applicant or employee, less favorably because of his or her age. The Age Discrimination in Employment Act only forbids age discrimination against people who are 40 or older. It does not protect workers under the age of 40, although some states do have laws that protect younger workers. In regards to age discrimination and work situations, the law forbids discrimination when it comes to any aspect of employment, including hiring, firing, pay, job assignments, promotions, layoff, training, fringe benefits, and any other term or condition of employment. Regarding age discrimination and harassment, it is unlawful to harass a person because of his or her age. Harassment can include, for example, offensive remarks about a person's age. Although the law doesn't prohibit simple teasing, offhanded comments, or isolated incidents that aren't very serious, harassment is illegal when it is so frequent or severe that it creates a hostile or offensive work environment, or when it results in an adverse employment decision, such as a victim being fired or demoted. The harasser can be the victim's supervisor, a supervisor in another area, a coworker, or someone who is not an employee of the employer, such as a client or customer. An individual with a disability is a person who, one, has a physical or mental impairment that substantially limits one or more major life activities, two, has a record of such an impairment, or three, is regarded as having such an impairment. Under this law, one path is required to make a reasonable accommodation to the known disability of a qualified applicant or employee if it would not impose an undue hardship on the operation. Reasonable accommodations are adjustments or modifications provided to enable people with disabilities to enjoy equal employment opportunities. Accommodations vary depending upon the needs of the individual applicant or employee. Not all people with disabilities will require the same accommodation. The objectives of EEO laws are to remedy past discrimination, to prevent violations, and to ensure that employees are provided with the opportunity to compete fairly for positions they are qualified for, receive objective ratings based on their performance, not be subjected to personnel decisions or unfair treatment based on non-merit factors, and to harbor a culture which embraces diversity. Harassment is unwelcome conduct that is based on race, color, religion, sex, including pregnancy, national origin, disability, or genetic information. Harassment becomes unlawful when one, enduring the offensive conduct, becomes a condition of continued employment, or two, the conduct is severe or pervasive enough to create a work environment that a reasonable person would consider intimidating, hostile, or abusive. Anti-discrimination laws also prohibit harassment against individuals in retaliation for filing a discrimination charge, testifying, or participating in any way in an investigation, proceeding, or lawsuit under these laws, or opposing employment practices that they reasonably believe discriminate against individuals in violation of these laws. It's important to remember that when looking at harassment violations, judgments are based primarily on the perception of the victim, not the intention of the accused. Since it's how one receives your action, as previously mentioned, clear communication is important. Offensive conduct may include any of the categories listed and is not limited to offensive jokes, slurs, epithets, or name-calling, physical assaults or threats, intimidation, ridicule or mockery, insults or put-downs, offensive objects or pictures, and interference with work performance. Harassment can occur in a variety of circumstances, including but not limited to the following. The harasser can be the victim's supervisor, a supervisor in another area, an agent of the employer, coworker, or a non-employee. The victim does not have to be the person harassed, but can be anyone affected by the offensive conduct. Illegal employment discrimination based on sex occurs when the unwelcome sexual conduct of a verbal or physical nature results in a quid pro quo, which means this for that, and or hostile work environment. Quid pro quo, or this for that harassment, occurs when submission to or rejection of such conduct by an individual is used as the basis for employment decisions affecting such individual. Hostile work environment occurs when unwelcome sexual conduct unreasonably interferes with an individual's job performance or creates an intimidating, hostile, or offensive working environment. So in summary, sexual harassment can be unwelcome, can be physical, verbal, or nonverbal, severe and pervasive, unreasonably interferes with an individual's work performance, creates a hostile work environment, and or focuses on impact of the behavior, not the intent. If you feel as though you have been discriminated against or retaliated due to any of the following, please contact your manager or HR. Workplace harassment is unacceptable conduct. Each one of us have responsibility for maintaining high standards of honesty, integrity, non-harassing, and diverse conduct as employees of OnePath. An excellent rule of thumb to check if we are creating a positive work environment is Am I shaping my attitudes and decisions of an individual on facts based on performance and behavior? Thank you for your participation in today's training on EEO and harassment.